The war over the parking lot started with a Porsche. More specifically, with the Porsche belonging to Mrs. Denise Hawthorne, better known in our neighborhood as Karen. I don't call her that to be cruel. It's simply the nickname everyone has given her over the years for her flair for entitlement. And her latest act, claiming that her 22-year-old son, Brandon, deserved the Porsche spot in front of our condominium entrance. The Porsche spot wasn't technically anyone's spot. It was unmarked, positioned closest to the building's lobby. In practice, it rotated between residents, usually taken on a first-come basis. But since Mrs. Hawthorne had bought her shiny silver Porsche Carrera 6 months ago, she'd parked there every single day as though it bore her initials. No one complained, until one week, when I got home late from work, and the lot was full. I parked in that spot. The next morning, she pounced. "Excuse me," she said, rapping on my driver's window as I was about to pull out. Her sharp manicure tapped like daggers. "That's our spot. My son needs it." I blinked at her. "Your son doesn't even live here. He comes over for laundry and free food. That spot is open for all residents." She puffed up, eyes wide. "He deserves it. He drives the Porsche when he visits. He shouldn't have to park far away." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Over my dead body. I'll move my car when I'm done, same as anyone else." Her lips pursed so tightly they nearly vanished. That's when I realized she wasn't joking. In fact, she meant every word. She wanted the Porsche spot permanently, reserved for Brandon the prodigal son. By the end of that week, flyers appeared taped to our building doors. "Respect your neighbors. Allow the Porsche spot to be used as intended." Underneath, in bold red ink, "Brandon deserves it." I tore mine down, furious. Other neighbors laughed, but the Hawthorns weren't laughing. They had started a campaign. Suddenly, the most trivial piece of asphalt in our lives had become the battlefield for pride, entitlement, and common sense. The real battle was about to begin. The next week, the Porsche spot transformed into something more than asphalt. It became holy ground to the Hawthorns. Every time I passed by, I saw Denise standing guard as though warding off intruders. Once, I even spotted Brandon lounging against the Porsche hood with sunglasses, sipping an energy drink like he was a celebrity. Neighbors started gossiping. "Can you believe she's serious?" whispered Marcy from 2B. "She thinks the Porsche is some kind of crown jewel," muttered Raj from 4C. For most, it was amusing. For me, it was personal. I worked 12-hour shifts at the hospital. That spot meant I didn't have to drag groceries across half the lot. So when I pulled in one Tuesday night and found Karen waiting there with her arms folded, I knew we'd reached a new level. "You can't park here," she barked. "This is for Brandon. He's visiting tonight." I killed the engine, stepped out, and stared her down. "Visiting? He's not on the lease. He's not a resident. He doesn't get privileges. End of discussion." Her eyes narrowed. "If you keep defying us, I'll take this to the board." The condominium board was a circus at best, but she wasn't bluffing. The next meeting, she stood up and launched into a passionate speech about respect and status symbols, and how young men should be encouraged. I countered with facts: equal rights to unassigned parking, legal boundaries, and resident fairness. The room split. Some rolled their eyes, others shrugged, but a few seemed oddly sympathetic. That night, an anonymous note appeared under my door. "Why fight it? Just let them have it. It's not worth the drama." But it was worth it. Because this wasn't about asphalt, it was about standing against sheer audacity. 2 days later, I came outside to find my car smeared with shaving cream, spelling Porsche spot equals Brandon's. I clenched my fists. The war was no longer cold. It was vandalism. And I vowed, if Karen wanted a battle, I would not lose. Word spread faster than wildfire. By now, half the building was either tired of the nonsense or quietly entertained. But Karen? She doubled down. A petition appeared on the lobby corkboard. Reserve the Porsche spot for the Porsche driver. Underneath, 10 signatures. Mostly her friends, the kind who always showed up to her wine parties. I started my own. Fair parking for all residents. By the end of the week, I had 20 signatures, twice hers. But she wasn't discouraged. She went door to door, dragging Brandon along like a trophy. One neighbor told me later, she actually said Brandon is the future of this building. Like he's some kind of heir. Meanwhile, I gathered proof of her antics, photos of her flyers, notes of her harassment. Even a video of Brandon yelling that he was above walking distances. At the next board meeting, I presented it all. My voice shook with adrenaline, but I laid it bare. She's harassing residents. She's vandalizing cars. She's demanding privileges her family doesn't have. Enough is enough. Gasps filled the room. The president cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. Mrs. Hawthorne shot up, face crimson. This is slander. My son deserves respect. No, I said firmly, my voice cutting through hers. Respect is earned. Not handed over with a Porsche key. The room fell silent. Then Marcy clapped. Raj followed. Soon, others joined. Karen stormed out, dragging Brandon by the arm, muttering curses under her breath. I thought we'd won. I thought it was over. But I underestimated her. Because the next morning, the Porsche spot was blocked by 2 orange cones and a chain. A bold sign hung between them. Reserved for Brandon. Do not move. I stood there, shaking with rage. She had escalated beyond reason. And I knew the next move had to be mine. The morning of the final showdown, the lot was buzzing. Neighbors gathered like it was a spectacle. Some brought coffee. Others filmed on their phones. I walked up to the Porsche spot, eyed the cones and chain. And without hesitation, kicked them aside. Gasps rang out. Karen appeared instantly, storming across the lot in her robe, hair wild. How dare you? That's Brandon's. I turned, my voice steady but loud enough for everyone to hear. Over my dead body will you privatize a community space? This spot is for everyone. Not just your spoiled son. The crowd murmured in agreement. She shrieked. You're jealous. That's what this is. I ignored her and slid into my car, easing into the cleared spot. Brandon, standing nearby with his arms crossed, sputtered. You can't do that. I'm calling the cops. Do it, I said, rolling down the window. Explain to them that your mommy thinks asphalt belongs to you. I'll wait. Laughter broke out among the neighbors. The Hawthorns froze, realizing the tide had turned. The more they ranted, the more ridiculous they looked. Cameras captured everything. Finally, the board president stepped forward. Enough. The spot is unassigned. No one owns it. If you continue harassing neighbors, Mrs. Hawthorne, you'll face fines, or worse. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. Brandon muttered something about moving out. The 2 of them slunk back to their unit, defeated. For the first time in weeks, the Porsche spot was quiet. Later that night, I stood at my window, watching the Porsche parked at the far end of the lot where it belonged. The battle was won, not just for me, but for fairness. And though I knew Karen would forever glare daggers at me, I smiled. Because some fights are worth every ounce of energy. And this one. I won it over my dead body.